All right, to talk more about Game 4, here's our hockey insider Pierre LeBrun and our Edmonton Oilers reporter Ryan Rishaug from the arena in Edmonton. Great to see you both. Guys, very quickly, let's start with Zach Hyman. I know for a lot of Oiler fans, this is an issue of concern. Ryan, any update on the Hyman situation? He leaves this game in the first period.
Yeah, Chris Knobloch doesn't often give injury updates after games. He says, I got to talk to the doctor still and such. So he said there would be more of an update tomorrow, Jay. What I will say is that, Zach Hyman was there when the Oilers were coming off the ice. He was in shorts and a T-shirt, and he was using his other hand to fist bump the players as they were coming off, was hiding the other side of his body, so couldn't really see. But Leon Draisaitl came off the ice and gave him a big hug. And then some of the comments from the players seemed a little bit more definitive about the fact that he's going to be out or missing some time. But again, Knobloch, Pierre, will make things official tomorrow.
Yeah, and listen, it's pretty obvious how big this would be as a loss for the Edmonton Oilers. He's had so many big moments for the Oilers in the last couple of years in the playoffs, big goals, big moments, leading the NHL in hits. We talked about that earlier today. So massive, massive injury loss for the Oilers potentially here. And what do you do now with that spot on the top line with McDavid and Nugent-Hopkins? We saw Corey Perry have a few shifts there on this night after Hyman left. We also saw Trent Frederick moved up and get an audition. So let's see what happens for Game 5. Not to mention, someone else has to come out of the press box. Will it be Jeff Skinner?
Quick footnote on Trent Frederick. That's as good as he has looked so far in the playoffs in terms of moving around on the ice and making plays. So maybe a window there for him.
Stuart Skinner, terrific again, 28 saves, 6-0 in his career in Game 4s. How did he set the tone in this one, Ryan?
Yeah, just rock solid. This was another situation, Jay, where the Dallas Stars came out. They were ready to play. They threw everything they had at Stuart Skinner. And in that first period, Skinner had to be lights out because the Stars were bound and determined not to get scored on first. And so it was a barrage on Stuart Skinner. It was save after save. And there were some great ones. Low down the pads. I thought his pads looked great tonight, the way he moved around. They threw everything they had at him, and Skinner was there and had the answers. So once again, the Stars with a big push, and it's Skinner first in line to repel them. And Pierre, this is just a guy that the confidence and the temperament stays the same all the time, even though the mayhem and the noise around him is so up and down.
Yeah, and Jake Ottinger did have a bounce-back performance for Dallas, but he still loses again to Stuart Skinner. Skinner was outstanding in this series last year, beating the Dallas Stars, and he's doing it again right now. I will say this. Jamie Benn, the Stars captain this morning, talked about needing to produce some greasier goals, i.e. making the life more uncomfortable for Stuart Skinner in the blue paint. I didn't see that tonight. Yes, they were great in the first period, Dallas. They had 39 shot attempts, but they missed the net a lot. And to me, Stuart Skinner looks too comfortable in this crease right now if you're the Dallas Stars. They've yet to make his life a little hairy in terms of taking his eyes away and jostling him around. It's been too comfortable a series for Skinner.
Pierre, if I could borrow on something that you mentioned the other night, I feel like this Western Conference final might finally be the moment where the league discovers how truly excellent a player Ryan Nugent-Hopkins is. This is his fourth straight multi-point performance. And Ryan, you followed him his whole career. Is this the best you've seen him play?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, this is the best Ryan Nugent-Hopkins because not only is he the most dominant offensive player in the series, but his two-way game is as good as it's been. They depend on this guy for everything. So he's a three-phase guy, right? He's the first over the boards when it comes to the penalty kill. He's the first over the boards when it comes to the power play. Look at the patience. Pierre, I was sitting next to you. I went, shoot it. But he didn't. He made a beautiful
He went to the boards. He went to the boards.
Well, exactly. But that's him. He's elegant. He's patient. He's got, pretty steady nerves. And then look at that. More patience right there. So at even strength, he's a critical player for them, penalty killer. He's, again, the first over the boards on both special teams. He has been dominant in this series, Pierre. And the thing I will remind everybody about Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, $5.125 million.
That's called a bargain in the NHL landscape, especially with the salary cap going up here this summer. And, there's an argument to be made that he's been the best player, period, on either team in this series. Now, we just talked about the other guy who would challenge him for that in Stuart Skinner. But what I love about Nugent-Hopkins, Nuge as well, is that his versatility. If they ever have an injury down the middle, he can slot back in there. There's not a lot of players in this league, truly, that feel at ease either at center and on the wing and produce the same way, and that is the case for him.
The guy I think we all expected to be the best player in this series was Mikko Rantanen, and yet 1 goal in his last 8 playoff games, scoreless in 7 straight. He's basically non-existent in terms of the score sheet. Pierre, how have the Oilers been able to shut them down?
Yeah, well, for one, the Oilers have done a really good job. I was actually talking to another coach from another team and asking him for his insight, and he said, you know, they've really cut down on Dallas's rush chances. And that's exactly where Mikko Rantanen is so dangerous going back to his days in Colorado. I will say this about Mikko Rantanen. He owned it post-game here tonight. I asked him about his own standards. He's really hard on himself, and he just feels like he has not measured it up to the kind of player he needs to be at this stage, at this time of year. Now, listen, they're not here without him. The hat trick in Game 7 against Colorado, the hat trick the following game to open the series against Winnipeg. There's a reason why he topped a lot of Conn Smythe lists after the second round of the playoffs. But to go 7 games without a goal when you are the offensive superstar for the Dallas Stars, it's absolutely killing Dallas. It's not just him. There's a lot of offensive passengers on this team right now. You go up and down the list. A lot of big names on this Dallas Stars team. None of them are scoring.
Well, and I think you got to give the Oilers some credit here, too. They've done a really good job. They're playing as well defensively as they have all season long. Stat for you here. When Mikko Rantanen was on the ice at even strength tonight, the shots were 9-5 Edmonton. Shot attempts were 19-12 Edmonton. Brett Kulak and Evan Bouchard played the most even strength minutes against Rantanen, and they were excellent against him. This Oiler team, Jay, back-to-back games, they've gone into the third period with a lead to work with. You would think there'd be some measure of laying back and the other team pushing hard. Back-to-back third periods with the lead, they've given up 4 shots in both of those third periods.
And now they are 1 win away from returning to the Stanley Cup final for a second straight year. Game 5 will be Thursday night in Dallas. Gentlemen, thanks for this.